What's up guys, welcome back to a brand new video. Now in this video I am actually going to react to one of our fan bases. Now in particular I'm going to react to Rory Jennings. He was on the Overlap. If you don't know what the Overlap is actually a platform where I think Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville and I think Paul Scholes as well, they do like a fun debating and stuff like that. I think on the teams that are in the top 6 or blah blah blah. I don't even know, because personally I'm just not interested in listening to Gary Neville or Jamie Carragher or even Paul Scholes. Like, I'm actually basically the English media, I'm not interested in what they're saying. But it has come to my attention in the recent couple of hours that Rory Jennings was there. If you don't know, Rory Jennings is a content creator who sometimes go on the TalkSport, and I've listened to him because I do actually listen to TalkSport quite often. And every time I listen to Rory Jennings on TalkSport, he always shit on Chelsea. Now, I'm all for opinions and I'm all for people expressing their feelings, right? But to some degree, whatever you say or whatever your opinion is, it kind of have to make sense with what's happening in recent times, right? Or whatever you're speaking about. You don't always have to be factual, because everyone's facts sometimes gets to be mixed up in there, because as a football fan, you're mixing, I guess, facts and emotion at the same time. So you can't really judge someone basing on what they say. But at the same time as well, I am trying not to be an Arsenal fan and try to be positive in every aspect, right? I'm the kind of a Chelsea fan that if everything is not going well, I'll call it. I did say this when Pochettino was here. Throughout the whole season, pretty much, I was crying for results. I was crying for better football. I was crying for direction, and I didn't see it. I did the same thing as well when we had Graham Potter. I did the same thing even during Tuchel's time. There were times where I was calling for the coach to do something, the players do something as well. Now, without me going off topic, let's talk about Rory Jennings, because he said some interesting stuff that actually got to me. And as much as obviously I listen to him, like I said on TalkSport, I always try to just ignore it, because at the end of the day, that's just what the English media is all about. Now, talking about the Overlap, I don't necessarily listen to it because of the people that always, take control of it. Like, we're talking Jamie Carragher, Gary Neville, Paul Scholes. These people, they hate Chelsea to their last. So I'm not going to sit there listen to them waffling. Now, I'm not even going to go on Jamie Carragher, because I expect them to say those things that they always say, because they're not Chelsea fans. But from Rory Jennings, I'm actually going to disagree with a lot of things that he said. Why? Because it's not true. Now, he said that he didn't want Maresca to be at the club in the first place because obviously he was a championship, manager, blah, blah, blah. And that's fair. I didn't want Pochettino to be at my club as well. So I can't really hold anything against the fact that he didn't want it. Maresca to come into the club. Even me myself, I was never like my number one Maresca fan, because at the end of the day, I had actually never watched Leicester play. I wanted someone like the Mourinho's, even bring back Tuchel, because I know what I can get from them. I didn't know what I was going to get from Maresca. So for him to say that, that's fine. But then he went on and said there's nothing special that we're actually doing this season that we haven't done last season. Or he was somehow trying to compare the last season and this season. But the mistake that he actually made was, he said the games that we won this season, we're talking the Wolves game, the Bournemouth game, and the West Ham game. He said those are the games that maybe probably last season we would have lost, we would have maybe won those games. But the mistake is, by this time last season, we had already played these teams. And I'll tell you what, if I'm wrong, correct me, but I think we had already played this team. Even if we hadn't played this team, but the teams that we won this season was Wolves 6-2, Bournemouth 1-0, and West Ham 3-0. Now, last season, we drew to Bournemouth, we lost to Southampton, and we lost 3-1 to West Ham. So already there is a difference. Now, I'm not saying this form that we are in is gonna go on until the end of the season. Oh, that's my hope, but necessarily might not be true, or might not actually end up happening, right? So I'm not saying let's just all be Maresca in, but we have to give him the benefit of the doubt based on how he started. You look at the Man City game, we lost, of course, but it was expected. I'm not saying it is okay to lose points at Manchester City, but it's also not a surprise, right? Even when you look at the way we played, we conceded 2 chances, and I think those were their 2 shots on targets. If I'm wrong, again, correct me. Or even if they were not 2 shots on target, it wouldn't have been ridiculous, because I think that game could have gone 50-50. If we had taken our chances, I remember Jackson, we could have actually come out there with a point, even a win. If I'm wrong, correct me. So I'm not saying yes, Maresca is going to get everything right, we're going to win the league in the next couple of years, or in the next couple of, I don't know. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying let's give Maresca the same energy that we gave Pochettino. Me, for instance, when Pochettino was at the club, I never wanted him in the first place, because to me, he was just Spursy. And I didn't want that mentality to come to the Stamford Bridge. But you know what? He ended up coming, and I wouldn't have done anything different about that. So what I did is, because he came to my club, I supported my club. Thereby, I supported him because I wanted him to be successful, because him being successful means Chelsea is successful. I gave him time. At the end of the season, we gave him a review. Now, 3/4 of that season, the football was shit. There was no style of play. We were conceding easy chances. We were losing points to teams that we were supposed to beat. The likes of Nottingham Forest, Wolverhampton, Bournemouth, the list can go on and on. Even Burnley, the team that got relegated. With 10 men, we lost points to Burnley. We were protecting a point instead of putting attackers to score goals with the amount of quality that Chelsea had at the time, that we obviously have now, a little bit different obviously, but we had the likes of Cole Palmer, Jackson. Those players were good enough to beat teams like Burnley. But the point is, I gave him time. Why can't you, Rory Jennings, a Chelsea fan who actually got into this season with 10 points out of 15, with 3 games won, 1 drew and 1 loss, to actually give Maresca time? There was a girl that was sitting next to Rory Jennings, even Jamie Carragher himself, they both said the teams that you actually took points off this season is the teams that you lost last season. So as much as I'm not trying to be an Arsenal fan and look at everything in a positive way, I'm also not trying to be unrealistic to the situation and circumstances of what's actually happening right now, because we actually started good. We actually started good. And going into this Brighton game, I'm as confident as, I don't know, but I am very, very confident just because Maresca is there and I believe in him and in his tactics and everything. So I don't understand why our fan base is the one that actually cry. We have so much of bad representative. If you were to ask me to choose someone to go on that overlap, I wouldn't have picked Rory Jennings, because I just think he's not a Chelsea fan through and through. Or maybe he is Chelsea fan through and through to a point that he actually doesn't even realize that times have changed. Now, I'm not saying let's change our motivation and our ambitions, but you gotta at least give the man time instead. But even the arrival fans, they're starting to see what Chelsea is doing. Why can't you see what we're doing? Yeah, I mean, I just thought I'd call him out on this one. You might not see this video. I don't give a shit. But to you, my fan base, I'm doing it for you to say, let's all, react and say, let's stop this fuckery. If Maresca ended up not performing well throughout the season, then we can call him out. But for now, I think let's give the men a chance in the team to express whatever they're cooking. Up the Chelsea, man. Up the Chelsea. Fuck. No, sorry. Let me not say that. Forget about them English media. Rory Jennings, they can go and whatever, F themselves. Up the Chelsea. If things don't go the way we want, we will call it up. But I just say it's not yet the right time. I think I know why they're crying, because of the exit of Gallagher and how we don't care. We don't care. Okay, we don't care. He was never our best player anyway, as the media always trying to portray. We don't care. Up the Chelsea, guys. Up the Chelsea.